My phone screamed with an Amber Alert. Description: male, 6 years old, brown hair, blue hoodie, last seen inside your area. The address listed under possible location was mine. I live alone. Then I heard tiny footsteps in the hallway. A child's voice whispered from behind my bedroom door. They think I'm missing. My heart hammered against my ribs, a frantic drumbeat in the suffocating silence of the house. I had seen the missing child posters plastered all over town, little Timmy with his bright, innocent smile and a mop of unruly blonde hair. Now, that same boy was standing in my hallway, his smile gone, replaced by an unnerving stillness. He wasn't crying, he wasn't scared. He just stood there, clutching a worn teddy bear, his eyes fixed on me. They were old eyes, too old for a boy of 7. My voice was a strangled whisper. Timmy, is that you? Your parents? Everyone's been looking for you. He didn't respond, just took a slow step forward. The floorboards creaked under his small weight. I took a step back, my hand fumbling for my phone in my pocket. I needed to call the police. I needed to call his parents. How did you get in here? I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. The doors were locked. The windows were shut. He tilted his head, a small, curious gesture that sent a shiver down my spine. I've always been here, he said, his voice a soft, melodic whisper that didn't sound like a child's at all. This is my house. My blood ran cold. No, I said, shaking my head. No, this is my house. I just bought it. A faint smile touched his lips, but it didn't reach his eyes. People come and go, he murmured. They think they own the house, but the house owns them. My fingers finally closed around my phone. I pulled it out, my thumb swiping frantically at the screen, but it was dead. The screen was black, lifeless. I could have sworn it was fully charged just an hour ago. You won't need that, Timmy said, his gaze dropping to the phone in my hand. No one can hear you from here. What are you talking about? I demanded, my fear turning to anger. This is crazy. You're a little boy who's lost. Let me help you. He took another step closer. I'm not lost, he said, his voice dropping even lower, becoming a chilling resonant hum. I'm the one who finds people who are lost. Like you, I'm not lost, I yelled, my voice echoing in the hallway. The sound felt wrong, muffled, as if the walls were absorbing it. Oh, but you are, he continued, his eyes seeming to glow faintly in the dim light. You've been lost for a long, long time. You just don't remember. He was close now, so close I could see the faded stitching on his teddy bear's button. The air grew heavy, thick with the scent of dust and something else. Something sweet and cloying, like wilting flowers. The poster, he said, the one with my picture on it. Did you read what it said at the bottom? I tried to remember. The bold letters screaming missing, his smiling face, the frantic contact numbers, but the fine print at the bottom, it was a blur. It says, last seen near the old house on Elm Street. He recited, his voice a perfect, emotionless echo of the words I couldn't recall. That's this house. I didn't go missing from here. I went missing asterisk to asterisk here. My mind reeled. This couldn't be real. This had to be a dream, a hallucination brought on by stress. I backed away until my shoulders hit the wall. There was nowhere else to go. Why? I managed to choke out. Why are you here? I'm waiting, he said simply. He raised a small hand and pointed, not at me, but at something behind me. I'm waiting for the others. They get lonely. I didn't want to turn around. Every instinct in my body screamed at me to keep my eyes on the boy. But an undeniable force, a chilling curiosity, made me slowly turn my head. The wall behind me wasn't a wall anymore. It was a doorway, a dark, gaping maw that hadn't been there moments before. And from the inky blackness, I saw them. Faint, shimmering outlines of figures. Their shapes indistinct, but their eyes were all fixed on me. They were the same old, empty eyes as the boys. You see, Timmy whispered from beside me, his voice suddenly sounding like it was coming from all directions at once. The poster isn't to help people find me, it's to help me find you. I looked back at him. His face began to distort, his features melting and shifting like wax. His innocent childlike form flickered, revealing something underneath, something ancient and terrifying. The teddy bear in his hand fell to the floor with a soft thud, but the sound was deafening in the silence. You're not Timmy, I whispered, the realization dawning on me with crushing certainty. The thing that wore the boy's face smiled, a wide, unnatural grin that stretched too far. Its eyes blazed with a cold, dark light. No, it said, its voice now a chorus of whispers that filled my head. Timmy was the first one I found. Now, it's your turn to play. The figures in the doorway began to drift forward, their ghostly hands reaching for me. I opened my mouth to scream, but no sound came out. The last thing I saw was the boy's distorted, smiling face as the darkness swallowed me whole. My thoughts fractured. Was this house a gateway? Was I going insane? Or had I been chosen for something terrible long before I ever set foot inside? The truth felt just as terrifying as the lie. The only certainty was the silence that followed, a silence that felt eternal, the static hiss of an old television. That's the first thing I remember. Waking up not in my bed, but on a cold, tiled floor, with that sound buzzing in my ears. The world outside the grimy window wasn't my world. The sky was a perpetual twilight, painted with shades of bruised purple and sickly orange. Twisted, skeletal trees clawed at the horizon. I was somewhere else. It didn't take long to meet the locals. They weren't people. They were observers. Tall, slender figures, with faces like polished obsidian, devoid of any features. They never spoke, never touched anything. They just watched. Their presence was a constant, suffocating weight. A silent judgment that followed me through the labyrinthine, empty streets of this bizarre copy of a town. I wasn't a visitor, I was an exhibit. My days became a blur of desperate exploration. Every door I opened led to another identical street, another row of soulless houses. I was running in circles, a rat in a maze designed by a mad god. I was starting to lose hope, to think I was the only one, when I found the first message. Scratched into the back of a stop sign, almost invisible. They feed on despair. Don't let them win. Suddenly, I wasn't alone. I started looking, not for an exit, but for others. I found them, huddled in the forgotten corners of this prison. There was Anya, a musician who could no longer hear her own melodies, and Ben, a retired soldier whose courage was being systematically dismantled. We were all lost, as Ben called it, plucked from our lives and dropped into this tailored hell. We realized this wasn't just a random dimension. It was a game, a farm, and we were the crop. The silent observers, the wardens, were harvesting our emotions, our fear, our hopelessness, our despair. That knowledge changed everything. It gave us a target. It gave us a weapon. We stopped running and started planning. Our plan was insane, born from the dregs of desperation. The wardens were drawn to strong emotional spikes. So, we would give them one. Not despair, but its opposite. Hope, a beacon so bright it would blind them. We found the center of the maze, a towering clock that had never ticked. We decided this would be our stage. We would overload the system, create an emotional paradox so powerful it would hopefully shatter the walls of this reality. Anya began to hum, a defiant tune of her past life. Ben stood tall, a silent sentinel of unbroken will, and I focused on every happy memory I had, every moment of love, every burst of laughter, channeling it into a single point of pure, unadulterated joy. The wardens converged, dozens, then hundreds, their smooth faces reflecting our desperate gamble. The air grew thick, vibrating with an unseen energy. The clock tower started to groan, the ancient hands twitching for the first time. Cracks of pure white light spiderwebbed across the twilight sky. It was working. A fissure in reality began to tear open above us, a glimpse of a real, blue sky. Freedom. Ben gave me a nod. Go now. Anya pushed me forward. Live for us. I didn't want to leave them, but there was no time. I took a running leap, scrambling towards the light, towards the tear in the world. As I clawed my way through, the world behind me began to collapse into a vortex of screaming static and purple light. I fell, landing hard on familiar, soft grass. I gasped, breathing in the sweet air of home. The sun was warm on my face. I was back. I was free. I laughed, a raw, ragged sound of triumph and relief. But then I felt it, a cold spot on the back of my neck, a feeling of being watched. I slowly turned my head. Standing at the edge of the woods, partially hidden by the trees, was a tall, slender figure. Its face, a perfect, polished, black mirror, reflected my own terrified expression. The game wasn't over. It had just followed me home.